So here we get to the fun part. Spirituality, excuse me, is a complex and multifaceted concept that encompasses a wide range of beliefs, practices, and experiences related to the human spirit or soul. It is deeply rooted in human history and has evolved over millennia. Let's explore the concept of spirituality in its origins, various aspects. Origins. So, the concept of spirituality in ancient times can be traced back to the earliest human societies. It emerged as a natural response to fundamental questions about existence, purpose, and nature of the universe. Key factors contributing to the origins of spirituality: cognitive awareness. As humans evolved and developed higher cognitive functions, they began to ponder existential questions. This cognitive awareness led to the exploration of concepts beyond the physical realm. Connection with nature. Early humans lived on a close harmony with nature, and their spiritual beliefs often centered around the natural world. They observed the cycles of the seasons, the sun, the moon, and the stars, which influenced their spiritual practices and rituals. Mystery and wonder. The awe and wonder inspired by the world's beauty, complexity, and the mysteries of life itself played a significant role in the development of spiritual beliefs. Early humans sought to understand and connect with the forces they perceived in the universe. Community and ritual. Spirituality was often a communal experience. Early human societies developed rituals, ceremonies, and rites that helped reinforce social bonds and provide a sense of meaning and purpose. Kind of like we have sort of kind of the thing with, religions as well. It's kind of like, promote connectedness, closeness, being a part of community, all of that, but, depends. So key aspects of spirituality. Spirituality encompasses a wide range of beliefs and practices, can take various forms, different cultures and individuals. Here are some key aspects. Belief in the transcendent. Many spiritual traditions involve a belief in transcendent reality or higher power. This may be expressed as belief in God, gods, the divine, the universe, or a collective consciousness. Inner journey. Spirituality often involves an inner journey of self-discovery and self-awareness. It seeks to explore the depths of the human psyche, emotions, and consciousness. Moral and ethical framework. Spirituality often provides a moral and ethical framework that guides individuals in making ethical choices and living a virtuous life. These values may include compassion, love, forgiveness, and empathy, connection, and unity. Many beliefs emphasize the interconnectedness of all living beings and the unity of all existence. The interconnectedness may extend to nature, other people, and the cosmos. Practices and rituals. Spiritual practices and rituals may vary wildly, but can include meditation, prayer, fasting, yoga, mindfulness, chanting, and sacred ceremonies. These practices are often designed to cultivate a deeper spiritual connection. Purpose and meaning. Spirituality seeks to address questions of purpose and meaning in life. It can provide a sense of purpose beyond material pursuits and offer guidance on living a meaningful life. So, there's religious spirituality. Many organized religions such as Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism have well-defined spiritual traditions and practices that guide their followers' spiritual journeys. Indigenous spirituality. Indigenous cultures around the world have deeply rooted spiritual beliefs and practices that connect them to their land, ancestors, and natural surroundings. New Age spirituality. Movement incorporates a blend of spiritual beliefs and practices, often emphasizing personal growth, holistic health, and the exploration of metaphysical concepts. Mystical and esoteric traditions, such as Sufism in Islam, Kabbalah in Judaism, and various mystical branches of Christianity, explore the direct experience of the divine or spiritual truths. And secular spirituality. Some individuals identify as spiritual but not religious, seeking a sense of transcendence and purpose outside the confines of organized religion. They may draw inspiration from philosophy, psychology, or nature. So there it goes into like the evolution of spirituality. Over time, influences change in society, culture, individual perspectives. In contemporary society, spirituality often takes a more individualized and eclectic form, with people drawing from multiple traditions and philosophies to create their own spiritual path. This evolution reflects the human capacity for spiritual exploration and desire for a deep understanding of the self and the universe. In summary, spirituality is deeply ingrained aspect of human culture and consciousness that has evolved over millennia. It encompasses beliefs, practices, and experiences related to the human spirit, the transcendent, and the search of meaning and purpose in life. Its origins can be traced back to the early human society's efforts to make sense of the world and their place within it, and it continues to be a central aspect of the human experience in diverse forms across cultures and belief systems. So, with the spirituality, the one thing that also might come to mind is like, where do we come from? Where do we go after death? Where are we connected? What are we here to do? All of this. And that is why we try to seek out the answers to it, because not necessarily do we know what exactly happens after death. It's just like, it's done. Or is there like, a continuation? So how does it go? And with that, I genuinely started to like the genre of, rebirth in another dimension or whatever reality, or the genre of isekai in Japanese animation culture, being reborn in like a magical land or whatever with like superpowers or something. So that's kind of like, I guess it's like ways of escapism, but at the same time, something like nicer to believe in besides just like playing, box. So there's also beliefs in karma and dharma. Karma and dharma are two fundamental concepts in several Eastern religions and philosophies, particularly in Hinduism and Buddhism. While they are interconnected, they represent distinct aspects of life and ethics. So karma. In Sanskrit, word means action or deed. In context of spiritual and ethical beliefs, karma refers to the law of cause and effect, where every action has consequences. So that kind of gives you an idea that everything you do, every action has reaction. A little bit of physics. Dharma. Sanskrit word that is challenging to translate precisely, but it is often translated as duty, righteousness, or law. In a broader sense, dharma refers to the moral and ethical duties and responsibilities that individuals must adhere to in their lives. Some people say that dharma is basically their life calling, sort of. Relationship between karma and dharma. Interconnected in the sense that they both deal with ethical and moral principles. One's dharma guides their actions and behaviors, and these actions in turn generate karma. In this way, following one's dharma, it means of creating positive karma in and fulfilling one's moral obligations. Foundational concepts in Hinduism, Buddhism, and other philosophies. Karma represents the law of cause and effect, where actions have consequences. Dharma signifies one's moral and ethical duties and responsibilities in life. Together, they provide a framework of ethical living and personal growth, ultimately aiming to lead individuals towards virtuous and spiritually fulfilling lives. So it's kind of like the whole idea of taking a path where kind of like you're guided to do, your best at what you want to do, so it's kind of like finding life's purpose, I guess, or just like finding something you're pretty, what you're good at, what you like to do, and that a little bit entitles a bit of ikigai, for example, this kind of like Japanese thing, where you find your life's purpose through the work that you do, through what you can provide for the society, what you can, physically do, what you like, and what you enjoy kind of doing, and kind of like it's all together being put, and that's kind of like what you should pursue. And if that, thing does not correlate with moral compass of like, in general, and is harmful to society and other people, then it kind of brings you, aka the bad karma. But if it's helpful to the society in general or to people, so it kind of generates the good karma. So whatever you do, in a sense, it's kind of like the idea of whatever you do, and if it is good for you and society, it's good. If it's, you know, no bueno, not good at all, or it's like harmful to others and to yourself, it most likely will bring you some, you know, like issues down the line. But that also, I think, applies to just like everyday things. So if you value yourself, you'll value others. But if you don't like yourself, you don't like others. And it's sort of also the idea that whatever you have inside, you genuinely project onto other people. So if you're wounded, if you are not trusting, if you're not confident, if you are not kind of like centered with yourself and in agreement with yourself, you'll project that onto other people. Passive aggressiveness, not trusting others, trying to, you know, seek for conflict most times instead of trying to find solutions. It's kind of that, in my humble opinion. So there goes the starseed bits. So although all journeys of the interesting beliefs, I did come across the starseed ideas and systems, so let us explore it a bit. Starseeds is a term used within certain New Age and metaphysical belief systems, and it represents a spiritual or cosmic concept rather than a mainstream or widely accepted belief. Starseeds are individuals who are believed to have originated from other star systems or planets and have chosen to incarnate on Earth to assist with its spiritual evolution and transformation. This concept is not associated with any particular religion, but is part of the broader New Age and spiritual movement. So, cosmic origin. Starseeds are believed to have originated from other star systems, planets, or dimensions. Proponents of this belief often claim that starseeds have lived lifetimes on other celestial bodies or in higher realms of existence before choosing to incarnate on Earth. Voluntary incarnation. The central idea is that starseeds have voluntarily chosen to come to Earth to assist its spiritual awakening and evolution. They're seen as beings with special mission or purpose to help raise the collective consciousness of humanity. Awakening and remembering. Starseeds are said to undergo the process of awakening when they gradually remember their cosmic origins and mission on Earth. This awakening is often described as deep sense of purpose and a feeling of not quite belonging to Earth. Spiritual gifts. Starseeds are believed to possess unique spiritual gifts, talents, or abilities that are meant to be used for greater good. These gifts can include psychic abilities, healing talents, and intuitive insights, empathy, and compassion. Starseeds are often associated with the heightened sense of empathy, compassion, and a strong desire to help others. They are seen as catalysts for positive change and healing on both individual and global scales. And soul groups. Some belief systems suggest starseeds are part of larger soul groups or families that share similar cosmic origins and missions. These soul groups may incarnate together to support each other's spiritual growth and purpose. Philosophy and belief system. And the concept of starseeds is rooted in New Age and metaphysical beliefs, which often incorporate a blend of spirituality, mysticism, and esoteric knowledge. While there is no single authoritative source or doctrine for starseeds, several individuals and authors have popularized these ideas through books, websites, and spiritual communities. So, belief system is characterized by the following philosophies. Unity and oneness. Starseeds often empathize the interconnectedness of all beings and the idea that we are all part of larger cosmic tapestry. The concept of oneness is central to their spiritual worldview. Starseeds believe in ongoing evolution of consciousness and the Earth's transition into higher vibrational frequency. They see their role as helping humanity navigate this evolutionary process. Personal and spiritual growth is highly valued within this belief system. Starseeds are encouraged to embark on journeys of self-discovery, self-healing, and self-realization to fulfill their missions. Starseeds often view Earth as a planet undergoing a profound transformation, both environmentally and spiritually. They see themselves as active participants in this transformation, working to bring about positive change. Starseeds aim to empower individuals to recognize their own divinity and potential for positive change. They encourage self-empowerment, self-love, and self-acceptance. Starseeds may engage in various spiritual practices, including meditation, energy healing, channeling, and connecting with higher spiritual realms to gain insights and guidance. So that's that. So a lot of that is sort of maybe hard to wrap the head around, because When you start to explore, for example, star seeds, you get like across these manuals of how there's like different races and different planets, and there's like anything from Lemuria to any other, like, you know, places where they come from, where they believe that there's souls incarnated here to raise the vibration on Earth, and the whole idea is that the Earth is undergoing through the changes once again, and there's like, you know, things happening to like there's also the concept of like 3D Earth to 5D Earth, and there's a lot of them believing that we're undergoing the change into like the 5D Earth to raise the vibration, to get the Earth to be more positive, to be more, you know, vibrant, happy, you know, joyous, loving, all of it. And that's kind of like the main idea behind it, in my opinion, like how I see it. But the more you actually go into it, the more you actually explore it, the more you get to, you know, see some things. For example, there's one channel, wouldn't say channel, but one person who channels, and, you know, a being. His name is Daryl, but the being he channels is called Bashar. And if you go onto YouTube and type in Bashar, you get to see a lot of very interesting videos. And depending on how you feel about it, you might find some of the answers quite intriguing, frankly. Very interesting. You know, it's kind of like either hearing what you already knew deep inside, or basically having a veil pulled off your eyes just to kind of like face something that you were trying to run away from on your own, in yourself, sort of. But that also depends on, you know, person. There's also Akashic records, often related to as the Book of Life or Akashic Library. It's a concept that comes from various spiritual and esoteric belief systems. These records are believed to be repository of cosmic database that contains information about every thought, action, experience, and event that has ever occurred in past, present, or future. Akashic records are thought to be universal and metaphysical storehouse of knowledge, sometimes described as existing on higher spiritual and energetic plane. They're believed to contain the collective wisdom of the cosmos. So, believes that there are both individual and collective aspects to Akashic records. The individual records contain information about the specific soul's journey across lifetimes, while the collective records hold a broader knowledge of humanity's experience. Some spiritual traditions and practitioners believe that individuals can access them through altered states of consciousness, meditation, deep intuition, or spiritual guidance. Access is said to provide insights, guidance, and information relevant to one's life journey. So it's so variations across belief systems. So there's theosophical influence. Played a significant role in popularizing the concept of the Akashic records. Theosophists believe the existence of these records as a source of universal knowledge and spiritual insight. New Age and Contemporary. Circles have gained popularity as a tool for personal growth and self-discovery. These are practitioners offer Akashic records readings where they claim to access the records on behalf of clients to provide insights and guidance. Skepticism, criticism. Boards note that the concept of Akashic records is considered highly speculative and metaphysical by many, and it lacks empirical scientific evidence. Skeptics view it as belief system without concrete validation. So some use it to kind of like have some guidance, because we all want some guidance in our life at some point where we're stuck, or we have burnout, or life is absolutely like being absolutely falling apart, and we want some, you know, somebody, for example, to tell us what to do, because we ourselves are at loss of what to freaking do with it. And if you yourself cannot figure out your situation, and you kind of want to access some inner insights about yourself, some people who do Akashic record access, some of them, not all of them, mind you, they do a pretty good reading into it. It's kind of like you do find the right person. Don't trust just anybody. Research. Research. You know, like find reviews, research, like, because like those are like the showing and the show and tell, and if the person actually has the skills. So I know that some people can access their Akashic records, and there's some people who access that to find guidance for themselves and their close ones, or the people who request, you know, the information about this and that. And that genuinely did help some people. But there's a lot of scammers online who will pretend to be, you know, like accessing stuff and whatever, and can just like create something out of thin air saying that it's a thing. Be aware of those. And it's kind of like with star seeds and Akashic records. It's kind of like once you start researching that, you get to question things. But the more you research, because don't just jump into it and believe the first person you see online about the thing. Just like research multiple sources and see how they, what do they have in common? What do they not have in common? You know, and like who practices this for like years and years, and who practices it for, you know, like a few weeks or months. There's differences in that. Okay. So there's also witchy bits. Witchcraft is a diverse and complex belief system and practice that has existed across cultures and time periods. It encompasses various traditions, rituals, philosophies. While it is impossible to cover every aspect comprehensively, some stuff, including paganism and witchcraft. Wicca, or the craft, refers to a broad range of practices, beliefs, traditions. So, nature-based spirituality, magic, spellwork, deities, spirits, Wicca. So, rooted deep connection with nature and the cycles of Earth, practitioners often revere with natural world, seasons, and the elements. Spellwork is a central aspect of witchcraft. Spells and rituals are rituals or actions performed with intention of bringing about a desired outcome. These outcomes can range from healing and protection to love and prosperity. Deities and spirits. Traditions vary wildly in their belief system about deities and spirits. Some witches may worship specific gods and goddesses, while others may work with spirits, ancestors, or elemental beings. There's often an emphasis on personal relationships with these entities. Wicca is a modern pagan witchcraft tradition that emerged in the mid-20th century. It was popularized by figures like Gerald Gardner and Doreen Valiente. Wicca practices a strong emphasis on the worship of goddess and god, and practice of rituals and adherence to the Wiccan Rede, which emphasizes the rule, harm none, do what you will. So there's also paganism, umbrella term that encompasses a wide range of nature-based and polytheistic belief systems. It includes various forms of witchcraft, as well as traditions like heathenry, Germanic and Norse paganism, Hellenism, Greek paganism, and Druidry, Celtic paganism. So with that, so witchcraft, paganism, there's also the Wicca, particularly in England, characterized by emphasis of duotheism, worship of a goddess, often presented as triple goddess, and a god associated with the horn god. So that's that. So these aspects of witchy bits of witchcraft, paganism, and Wicca. So that kind of gives you the sense and insight of how back in the days in ancient Egypt, people were worshipping Seth, Isis, and many other gods. How there's like religions and belief systems with multiple gods. In Norse pantheon, there's like, you know, Thor and Loki and Odin, Freya, and Ullr and Fafnir. There's a lot of them. Some others that are more Slavic paganism. There's Chernabog. There's Marva, and there's many others as well. So they all correlate with something of a specific thing. Like in Greek gods, there was Zeus, Hera, you know, and many others. So they all, like, in terms of religions, there's like either an idolized being or a god that answers for all of it. When it comes to paganism, you have deities, for example, that only have their part of work. So there's deities who only, answer for harvest, for love and prosperity. But there's also the dark parts to them, because every one of these pagan gods, they have like two sides of them. Because like we all, even like in nature, in humans, we have the positive side to us and the negative side to us, like the dark side of the shadow. And same with these gods, because they can be nice and they can be quite not nice. One of the like prominent ones could be Persephone. So she's like the goddess of spring and kind of like love and kind of like abundance-ish sort of thing. But at the same time, she's like also the wife to the underworld, god. So she's also a bit of, from there. So when it comes to different kind of pantheons, like Kali, for example, she's like the goddess of like, war, but at the same time, she's the goddess of, fertility and prosperity. Freya, very much the goddess of like, home, but at the same time, she's very much the goddess of like, war. So many gods and goddesses, they have the aspects of being also about the positive aspects of like prosperity, abundance, love, but at the same time there's something like war and like, vengeance, bloodshed. So depending on where you go with it and what you choose to believe in which pantheon, doesn't matter which country, where, do research them. Go into the mythology, go into the legends, go into like the old books. Check what is the mythology and the lore behind these gods, if you do go into it, Because I have seen online, like, I mean, a year back or 2 years back when it started to pick up, there were a lot of people who were going like, oh, I work with multiple deities. And as you listen to who they work with, they pick the most absolutely juxtapositions, beings together. And you're like, but that does not make sense. And those practitioners who have been in the works for a very long time, years and years, they explain that, yeah, you can indeed work with multiple deities. But first off, you have to know about them, their mythology, their legends, their story. You have to know about their kind of like energy, what they bring with them. You have to know what they prefer or like. There's also the part of altars, rituals, like bring something to the table, bring an offering before you ask anything. Same with how there's beliefs in like, so there's a lot of these voodoo practices and hoodoo practices, because they're, different. That too, like, if you go there, research. Don't just like, do a thing, research. In Mexico, there's also like very interesting practices and belief systems, research. Don't just go with like, oh yeah, it's just like, if I just go around with the wand or just like burn a thingy or I don't know, dig a hole and put stuff in it and just like, bury it, it's gonna be fine. Do your research. Don't just go into absolutely just like anything just to see if it works. Some things work too well. Some things might shock you with results. So be aware that with paganism and with worship of deities and or spiritual things like fae, for example, fairies, nature-based kind of like beings, do your part of research on them. Don't just like jump head on, because I know that there's been a lot of people who were jumping into hexes and curses all of a sudden going like, yay! And a lot of practitioners who've been in the craft for years say, read the damn thing about protection, about the basics, about what's what everything does. There's like a lot of like herbology involved, you know, what every item is about, you know, what the herb is about. So there's not just like the whole why is it so makes your brain turn around. But why paganism and witchy stuff is very kind of like heavy to go into is that you have to do your researches about the lot of mythologies, what was happening, you know, the stories about the gods, if you want to go there. If you want to worship something along the lines of nature, read about the nature. Don't just jump randomly into it thinking like, oh yeah, this is going to be working. There's like the language of flowers, there's the language of trees, there's significance of every tree. Like even trees, flowers, and growing, you know, things out there, even inanimate objects, so to say, you know, rocks and cliffs and hills and whatnot, they all possess a type of energy and a type of story that goes with them, and you know, they're kind of thing that they do. So you have to research and read about it, you know, what does it mean in like spiritual aspect, what does it mean in witchcraft aspect, so you don't just like screw around with the thing you don't want to find out later on. So there's a lot of that involved. And when you go into the witchy stuff, there's also, for example, tarot cards, you know, oracle cards. When you start learning those, you learn not only the cards themselves, but the meaning behind them, because there's correlation with seasons, with astrology, with a lot of different things. And the same with Wicca, you know, there's, you know, some trees or flowers have associations not only with elements, you know, fire, water, air, earth, but they also have aspects with astrology. So they have not just something, but also representation in different forms and information-wise. So once you start getting into it, there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of research you should do before you try stuff, so that you'll know for sure what thing does what. Because simple things like lemon, salt, apples, you know, things like that. Some things are for positive things, some things not so much, depending on what you use it for. Seeing a lot of people use very wrong objects for their craft or, you know, practices, and that was puzzling a lot of people. So with whatever you choose in the witchcraft, do please do your research. A lot of research. There's even available free courses on Allison and Udemy also that teach about the tarot cards or the astrology in specifics, in details, and like the pagans and all of that. So like the details and aspects and, like, you know, the meanings behind it. And there's a lot of resources online as well that give you more information on it. So do your research, please. that is a lot. That is a lot, and there's a lot. So before you jump into anything, please research. And I think that the very last aspect would be the Freemasonry. So fraternal secretive society has its origins in Middle Ages, evolved centuries ago, global diverse organization. So it's kind of like, I mean, they're cool. It depends, but as far as I got to check them out, they feel basically like a very interesting philosophy club thus far. But once again, if you want to go and join that, it's kind of funny how there's Freemasonry websites and like Wicca websites and whatever religious you can imagine websites where you can just sign up with them. Funny enough. And just, yeah, just do your research, have your pick on what you want to do about it. So yeah, that's been a long one with the witchcraft and all that. So see you in the next one.